Yo, 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 what it do, everybody? This is your boy, La Black Gandhi, bringing y'all another video today. Today will be another episode of JP Rants. So before I get into what I'm going to discuss today, I just want to address two things in the NFL right now. First, in regards to Gillingsley, the former Bills running back, he's now a member of the New England Patriots on a 2-year, $6.3 million deal. What this most likely means, however, is that the Patriots are not going to resign LeGarrette Blount, which is unfortunate to see him go because this is the second time that they've done this. A few years ago, he signed with Pittsburgh, and then he had that whole weed thing with Le'Veon Bell, thus leading to his release from Pittsburgh and returning to New England in 2014 to help us win our Super Bowl back then. So it's tough to see him go. I hope that he goes to a great organization for a great chance to play. Um, but like I said, with the addition to Gillingsley, now that means we already have five running backs on the roster with Burkhead, who we signed earlier in this offseason, and then we already had James White, Dion Lewis, and Brandon Bolden still on the roster. So with five running backs, I'm pretty sure that means that LeGarrette Blount is probably done in New England. But it would be great to see him come back. But really having six running backs on the roster, I don't think that's going to happen, especially since the other five can play three downs. So LeGarrette Blount, just want to say thank you for everything you've done for us, helping us win those two Super Bowls, man. Wish you were still here, but I hope that you get a great opportunity elsewhere, get to start and be a great contributor to a team, and maybe even compete for a championship yourself. So, you know, thanks for everything, bro. Wish you the best. In terms of the other NFL news, I'm very happy to say this. Looks like the Saints and Adrian Peterson are closing in on a deal. Adrian Peterson opted out of his, I believe, opted out of his deal or was declined by the team, whoever had the option there, um, to become an unrestricted free agent. He visited the Seahawks and the Patriots earlier this year. Then he visited the Saints, with all walking away with no deal. But it looks like that the Saints are coming back around and look like they're going to add him, and that's awesome because to this day, AP, when healthy, is still one of my favorite players to watch in the league. So hopefully that deal gets done, and I wish him the best in New Orleans. And they'll have a great two running back punch themselves with AP and Mark Ingram. So best of luck to you, AP. Hopefully you can stay healthy this year. Hopefully you do some damage in New Orleans. All right, so on to the NBA side of what this video is about. Let's start off by saying what a great game by Boston. They had a bad second quarter again. Kind of a rough third quarter for about the first half of it, but they were able to close it out on a big run to go up by 10 going into the fourth, and they were able to close it out and win by 9 against the Chicago Bulls. So that series is up. Is two apiece headed back to Boston on Wednesday, and just very happy about that being a Celtic fan. But I will admit, with Rondo and that pace, and they killed us the first two games, and it's unfortunate that Rondo had to go down with the thumb injury. Um, that's no excuse. You know, we shouldn't have been down 0-2 against them anyway. But then again, Isaiah Thomas is going through mega turmoil in himself right now with the death of his sister. So I guess that kind of outweighs each other, I guess. But that series all tied up two apiece. Going into Game 5 in Boston on Wednesday. So um, what what drove me crazy was Fred Hoidberg was criticizing Isaiah Thomas in terms of he feels that he's getting special treatment by the referees. When I first heard this, the first thing I thought about was how. And then I heard that it was about his dribbling technique, and it's like, again, how? I didn't read the story. I don't care too much to read about it because as soon as I heard that he feels that Isaiah Thomas is getting special treatment from the refs, the immediate first thing I thought of is, but yeah, Isaiah Thomas got a technical foul last night for a play that happened pretty similarly to Marcus Smart and Jimmy Butler earlier in the game, and that was a double technical. But yeah, Isaiah is the only one that gets a technical in Isaiah's situation. And also, let's not forget, Jimmy Butler shot more free throws than the entire Celtic team last night, shooting 23 free throws, going 19 of 23. So Without those free throws, your boy Jimmy Butler would have had 10 points. And yeah, Isaiah gets special treatment. This was getting LeBron calls last night. And last time I checked, Jimmy Butler, whether it's shooting guard or small forward, isn't even the best player at the position. As a matter of fact, he probably doesn't even crack the top three at either position, in my opinion. So your boy Jimmy Butler got 23 free throws last night, but yet you're complaining about Isaiah Thomas gets special treatment, but yet your boy was getting LeBron calls last night. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there. Because I'm done with that. Fred Hoiberg, he doesn't even deserve the job anyway. He should go back to college where he belongs. Um, Speaking of college coaches, let's talk about a guy that definitely needs to go back to college. As a matter of fact, he should probably just retire. And let's go and tie this all the way around to the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Houston Rockets series. If it wasn't for Russell Westbrook shooting them out of the game in game two in the fourth quarter, and Billy Donovan being a horrible coach in this series, especially in game three, we could honestly say that Oklahoma City could be up 3-1 right now on the Houston Rockets. And that's crazy to say. I didn't think that was going to happen. I had a feeling this series might go six. There were a lot of people that said it could go seven, but I didn't think that it would go any further than six. And it looked like it might be over in five. And I'll perfectly admit to you, Russell Westbrook, who I believe proved beyond a shadow of a doubt in this series that he is the MVP and James Harden is not. Because James Harden, if you take away his fourth quarter, he had 9 points for the whole game. He was 0 of 7 from the 3 point line, 2 of 11 from the field going into the fourth quarter. But yet, the Houston Rockets were only down 4. Why? Plain and simple. James Harden has by far the better team than Russell Westbrook. So beyond a shadow of a doubt, James Harden had an off game and Houston still won the game by 5. So it's like so it's like Russell Westbrook got another triple double and he pretty much has to do this for them to have any chance. And when your own head coach is blowing it for you, that makes it even worse. Billy Donovan made one of the most stupidest moves I've ever seen in my life in the game of basketball. He left Andre Robertson in the game when they started doing the hack of Robertson, knowing he had not hit a free throw in the entire series. It was 42%, the second worst in the league this year. At the line. As soon as you see that, you would think, all right, let me take Robertson out. Let me put in Abrinas, right? Get some shooting. We lose a little bit. We lose defensively, but that's all right. At this point, Westbrook could take Harden, right? No, he leaves Robertson in for 4 more trips to the line before he finally puts in Jeremy Grant. Great move on his part because Jeremy Grant had himself a game. He went 5 of 5 from the field, all dunks. But you would think that if he had done that earlier, OKC possibly could have won that game. And despite that bonehead move, Russell Westbrook put them back in position to win the game. On that clutch three, after Steven Adams intentionally misses the free throw, gets the offensive rebound, dishes it out to Westbrook. Westbrook hits a 30-footer, bam, down only 1. And then the team decides, oh, we're going to win until it gets out of Eric Gordon's hands to not foul. When you're not in a position to freaking dictate who gets the ball to foul, you need the foul immediately. And then they give up a freaking 3-point play to Nene, who was perfect from the field, killing it last night. 28 points, 10 boards off the bench. Absolutely ridiculous, man. Like, Westbrook, to me, with the exception of the fourth quarter in game 2, has been the only bright spot for OKC. Like I said, he's had one bad quarter. And then you look at the fourth quarter last night, there's no player movement at all. Basically the players are just standing around waiting for Westbrook to make a decision. But that was not the way they played the first 3 quarters. So why in the world are you changing the play call now? Billy Donovan needs to be fired after this season, And this roster needs to be significantly overhauled. Significantly. And the first thing I'm doing is, unfortunately, because you are taking a big risk because of his injuries. He's out for the playoffs this year again. But I'm getting Blake Griffin. I'm getting Blake Griffin to pair up with Russell Westbrook. I'm getting rid of some of these players. Steven Adams needs to go. Victor Oladipo needs to go. Like, it just annoys me that Russell Westbrook is about to go down in the first round because of the team around him and because of freaking management for doing a horrible job of building this roster, thinking that they were always going to have Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, where you should not build your team around two specific players and that's it. You need to have flexibility, especially in an era now where the three-point shot is so emphasized. Like, it's crazy. It's honestly crazy, y'all. It's honestly crazy. I feel bad for Westbrook, man. Love watching him play, man. I'm starting to think it's honestly was a mistake for him to re-up in OKC, especially if they're gonna be doing this, man. Like, you traded away a stretch big that could protect the paint in order to get a guy who has peaked out on his career so far. Literally, pretty much across the board, Victor Oladipo's numbers this year is equivalent to the numbers that he put up in Orlando. He's the second option. He's supposed to be the second best offensive player on the team. But realistically, he's more like the fourth. And Enes Kanter, who's their second best offensive player after Westbrook, can't even play in this series because he's a defensive liability. He cannot guard Riot Anderson, and he's not good enough to defend Nene. So he doesn't even get played in the series. So that's an entire offensive weapon just completely negated just because of defensive liability. It's a damn shame, y'all. It's a damn shame. Like I said, I think it was a mistake for Westbrook to re-up in OKC. I think he should have waited it out. And like I said, outside of that fourth quarter in game two, which I'll put Russell Westbrook probably at like what 20% of the blame for them being down 3-1 right now. He's played pretty much probably a flawless series, or as flawless as can be regarding the circumstances. James Harden didn't hit a three last night, and they still won the game by 5. If that doesn't prove that Russell Westbrook is undoubtedly the MVP over James Harden, and consider it to the fact that freaking Houston definitely significantly surpassed expectations for this year. But in terms of James Harden himself, his numbers weren't that much better than they were last year. Just pretty much 4 more assists per game. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. So tying back to Jimmy Butler now, let's migrate back to him. I think what these playoffs are showing is that what I've been saying all season long and what people have been bashing Danny Ainge for not trading for either Jimmy Butler or Paul George and giving away the farm, dismantling, gutting the whole team to get one of these two guys this season. I think what we're seeing right now, these two are definitely not superstars. How y'all like the Celtics just beat Chicago in Chicago by 19-9 in games 3 and 4. Jimmy Butler got clamped in game 3, and he was getting LeBron calls in game 4, which is the only reason why he had a good game. Otherwise, he probably would have only had, I believe it was 10 or 12 points. Because, like I said, he went 19 of 23 from the free throw line. But yeah, Isaiah Thomas gets special treatment, even though he got a single technical when it should have been a double technical at the least between Isaiah Thomas and Michael Carter Williams. But anyway, I digress from that. Paul George, to me, has checked out. He's checked out. He's checked out. He doesn't want to be in Indiana anymore, and he's just coasting along until he becomes until he has the ability to become a free agent. He's gonna go to LA. Hence the reason why the Celtics didn't trade for him, because he wants to go to LA. And he said that the only two teams he would re-up for are the Pacers and the Lakers. And by them getting swept, I'm throwing the Pacers out of the window. He is going to be a Laker in 2 years, y'all. He will be a Laker. As for Jimmy Butler, he's supposed to be a superstar, right? But yet, you would think that Chicago Bulls getting beat by that much, you would have thought that Jimmy Butler was the one that tore his thumb and is out of the series, not Rajon Rondo. But yet Rondo goes down and they get completely exposed. They have nobody to guard Isaiah Thomas unless they put Jimmy Butler on him. They have nobody. They have no floor general. Wade's too old to do it, and Butler just isn't that good being the decision maker and running the show. He's great as a secondary option in that regard, not as the guy. And these series are just showing what I've been saying for all this season and probably for at least a couple years now. What has Paul George done after freaking David West, George Hill, Lance Stevenson, and freaking Roy Hibbert left? Unfortunately, breaks his leg. They Indiana Pacers missed the playoffs. First round exit. First round exit. Jimmy Butler. This is his second year as being the man in Chicago. Missed the playoffs last year. Barely makes the playoffs this year. Looks like they're about to get a reverse sweep by Boston. Told y'all these two ain't no superstars. They're great secondary pieces to a superstar. They ain't the man, y'all. And y'all need to realize that. They're great B players. Great Robins to a Batman. But in terms of them being the Batman, nope. Nope. We saw it. Pacers couldn't close. That's heartbreaking. They lost by 16 total points in the 4 games by the Cavs. But none of them can close, including Paul George. And in every game, Paul George threw his team under the bus. Exactly what we need in Boston, right? No. Jimmy Butler gets clamped up in game 3. And like I said, if it wasn't for him getting LeBron calls last night, he would have had 10 or 12 points in game 4. But yeah. But Isaiah Thomas gets special treatment, right? Sure. Sure, y'all. Jimmy Butler is the answer, right? Sure, y'all. Paul George is the answer, right? Sure, y'all. Let's see. What else we got? In terms of the playoffs so far, I got to admit, probably the biggest shocker so far in the playoffs is the fact that the Spurs and Grizzlies series is 2-2. I thought the Grizzlies could get a game in this series with their loss of Tony Allen. Obviously, would have been a great help on Kawhi Leonard. But the Grizzlies, man, they built momentum in Memphis, tied the series up 2-2, going to San Antonio. I mean, shoot, this might go 7, y'all. This might go 7. And I know that the last couple years, the Spurs have dominated the Grizzlies, but you gotta remember, in the same scenario with the Grizzlies being the 7th seed and the Spurs being the 2 seed, the Grizzlies knocked San Antonio out of the playoffs in the first round a few years ago. So if it happens again, don't be surprised. Mike Conley, one of the most underrated players in the league. Marc Gasol stepping up his game in the playoffs. Zach Randolph stepping up his game in the playoffs like he always does. Vince Carter, freaking even at the age of 40, being the oldest player in the league, balling. I mean, damn. So, and probably I'll finish up with this. The Warriors should probably rest Kevin Durant for this series and the next series because it looks like they're going to be playing the winner of the Clippers and the Jazz. And honestly, I'm pretty sure Golden State can handle either team without Kevin Durant, especially if it's the Clippers since they lost Blake Griffin. So yeah, I'll finish up with that. So that's all I got, yo. So leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs down if you didn't. Comment below your opinions of all the topics we talked about, and give me your surprise of the playoffs so far, and what should Golden State do with Kevin Durant. Um, when I get a chance, my Twitter will be in the description box below. In case you want to follow me there, I always alert people when a video has been made and is about to go up, or if I'm about to make the video. And you can just follow me in general. I talk a lot of basketball, things like that, a lot of NFL. So a good Twitter to follow, especially when I get to the rant mode. But yeah, have a great day, everybody. Continue to stay blessed. And this is your boy, the Black Gandhi, signing out. Peace, y'all.